This is the North Hudson Public Works meeting on Tuesday, November 15th, 2016 at 5:30 PM. We need a call to order and roll call, please.
Chair Pike,
Here.
Chair Head, Trustee Head, excuse
Here.
me. Trustee Nelson.
Here.
Okay, number 2, approve the minutes from October 18, 2016 Public Works meeting. I need a
A motion to approve the minutes of October 18th, 2016 Public Works meeting.
I'll second.
motion by Kirk, second by Ted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 3, winter parking ordinance, discussion and possible recommendation. What you guys may remember about that is I am going back and forth with the chief, but the chief's been a little busy and he's going to get to it. He sent me an email today, said he'll get to it. And so we'll table that one for today, if that's okay. Number 4, Ferry Landing Park Road and Parking Lot Pavement Project only, or discussion only. Kevin, do you have anything on that?
Sure, I can step in. So this is something that, we had looked at during the budgeting process, and if you remember, we were looking at, currently it's a gravel roadway down to the river down there. So we were looking at upgrading that with asphalt, and the cost was gonna be around $43,000 for that. And along with that, we looked at the parking lot in addition to, and that was around 19,000. So some of the discussion was to see if there was any grant dollars potentially that would, be eligible for this type of project. And, I had our planning department look at that today. And unfortunately, to meet, the DNR's requirement, we'd have to have a project of a minimum size of about $100,000. So, just the ferry landing, the road portion's only around 40, so didn't think that would really be a good candidate for that. One of our other ideas was, potentially looking at doing the LRIP, the Local Road Improvement Project.
Okay.
That one is in the DOT's Whistler program, so, that we could maybe look at trying to, that program comes out next fall, and maybe having that as a candidate for that application request. Typically in the past, I usually get around 15,000, so that 20,000, so maybe 50% of the cost would be picked up by that, for upgrading the roadway. So something to think about. Again, it wouldn't be till next fall before we could apply for those funds, but, that might be one of the options. Originally we were looking at St. Croix Street for that part of the grant, but, we could always look at maybe just doing that with Ferry Landing Road too, so.
You might be able to do both, is what you're saying?
You have to pick just one.
Just one?
Yep.
Well, discussion? Questions?
We don't even own this road, right? This is,
That's the other thing. I'm hearing
technically
that
speaking, I know in public safety that the chief isn't even really allowed to police a lot of that.
Yeah, it's
I'm
in
hearing
the,
something like a driveway almost, or what do they call it? It's got a special designation where it's not a street.
from what I could tell, it looked like there was right-of-way that goes all the way down through there.
I think there's some misconception about that.
Yeah,
Probably
because it is in
some-
the Whistler, it
Up.
shows it
Yep.
all the way down to the river, so.
It's, I think, I'm not 100% sure that we own it to the high water mark.
Are we gonna need DNR input if we do anything? Because that was also something that Gloria brought up. Does the DNR have to weigh in?
If you stay above the ordinary high water mark,
You sure?
yep, there wouldn't be, typically when the DNR gets involved, if you start doing any disturbance over 1 acre, and this, I'm pretty sure it would be under that threshold,
Okay.
so,
All right, so I don't believe we want to do anything with it this year, right?
Correct.
So this would be something that we might want to take up next year.
Yep.
I don't know how to put something on a future agenda item that far out. Maybe Patrick, you could keep it on your radar for sometime next year to reconsider this.
Is this on our 5-year?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, nope, it was not put on the 5-year, no.
Okay.
But there's a list of things to do down the road. Maybe we could look at it again sometime next year when we have the new budget in place.
Yep.
Anybody else? Discussion, questions? Okay, let's move on then. Number 5, purchase of snow plowing truck, discussion and possible recommendation. We had one snow plow truck that we looked at, and Patrick was looking at another. You want to bring us up to speed?
First of all, I apologize for not being as well prepared as I should be. But I have looked at 2 other trucks. One Brian Fry had alerted me about that was in Cameron, Wisconsin, and I actually I have a friend up there, so I drove up there and checked it out. And it seems like a truck that would fit our needs. I looked inside. The controls for it are very basic, like, would be user-friendly, so whoever we hire in the future, what have you, doesn't have to be a computer whiz or anything like that to figure out the technology. It's pretty basic. It's got the joystick controls, just like what we have in our current plow truck. That truck, I guess I like it. It seems like a very functional truck. International's a good construction type of truck. I don't have any information on that. Again, I apologize, but I will be getting some in the future from this guy, because he'd kind of told me that he had another city or village looking at it over by Green Bay.
Okay.
So I guess if we could, I don't know how this process works. I'm fairly new, but if there was a possibility that in next month's meeting, I could try and get more things rounded up for you guys, and maybe a better, the truck that I'm looking at in Cameron would actually cost about $1,000 more than the truck that we had originally looked at. And it's 1 year newer, and it also has a bigger motor, the updated version of International's motor. So I think it would be better. I've got to get a call into a few of the county workers and maybe some state people, because I'm assuming that a few of them might have these trucks, or some of the counties in our state, and just get some feedback on the maintenance of them, if they've had any problems with them, what have you. But that's actually all I have to.
So what do we got in the budget?
Yeah, how much is this truck?
We don't have anything in the budget for this year, so this was gonna be a purchase for next year, so him doing a little research here is a good thing.
So what do we, because you guys just got done with 17 budget.
Right.
Is there anything in the 17 budget for the purchase of a new truck?
Gloria believes we can purchase it next year and put it into another loan that we're looking at doing.
But it's not been a line item, so we don't have.
No, but I think there might have been a certain amount of money set aside this year, but I don't think it's a significant amount compared to
How much
the
was the
truck.
truck you were looking at?
The truck that I was looking at was $160,000. The other one,
Yeah.
the first one that I looked at was like 159. The salesman from over in the cities, gave me a $1,000 rebate, which I don't believe is dealer specific, because it says International right on it.
Yeah.
So I need to check. So if we got the $1,000, that would bring it down to what we were going to.
How many miles?
0.
Oh, this is a brand new truck.
Brand new, and it's red. It has.
Got our
the-
colors.
Yeah, it has
We gotta
the,
put a number on it.
it has a 12-foot plow in the front. It has belly plow, which, the advantage to that, and I've talked to a lot of people, good advantage to it, is if we're gonna start, and we're probably gonna have to start using more of the liquid as a pre-treat, to wet the salt, because then the salt starts working when it hits the road, when it's wet, instead of rolling off and going to the curb and running into the catch basins and what have you. But the belly plow, you can actually put a little bit of pressure down, so we can possibly scrape the streets nice and clean.
Get some ice off and
Yeah,
stuff, yeah.
and then this does have a wing plow, so on our bigger streets, like, just for instance, like Cratley, it will save us so much time, because I'll be able to, you can put that wing plow out, and then you got a 12-foot plow in front of it. We can make 2 passes down there instead of 4 or 5. And then just get the road open and get our main arteries done, and then go and clean up with a smaller truck later on. And this truck also is made for tight areas. It's a shorter truck. It's single axle. It's got a steel box on it. Originally, I had thought that an aluminum box would be good, but if we get an aluminum box, then we'd be limited to, like in the summertime, I haul class 5 or rocks or what have you. The aluminum would all dent up and whatever, but this has a steel box, but the frame is aluminum, so it would help with the rusting.
Any other questions? Okay, so on that one, we're going to get, I think we'll table it for now. We're trying to get the best deal we can and the most appropriate vehicle that we can, and it's probably a next year purchase anyway, so taking the time to do the right research is a good thing. All right, number 6, Public Works Building Purchase Options Discussion and Possible Recommendation. I was hoping to be ready to make more of a recommendation on this, but there's been other discussions that have occurred in the last week of other possible solutions to the place that we were wanting to purchase. And so right at this point in time, I'm going to ask that we hold on that. Do you guys have any questions about where we're at on that?
Nope.
Okay. And then number 7, sanitary sewer televising options, discussion and possible recommendation. And Kevin?
All right, so I was asked to look at all the televising that was done back in 2010. That was done by Infotech. They're out of the Twin City area. And so I put a summary together, of all the different observations and recommendations. So basically, there was 7 different stretches within the village where they televised the sanitary sewer main.
And these are the ones listed in our report here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we can just work right down the list. So Lund Street, we were able to find a map that kind of showed, the age of the mains within the village. And that section's about 45 years old, and it's, made of vitrified clay.
What do you mean by that?
It's clay tile,
The pipes?
the clay, yep.
Really?
Yep, and they're in smaller sections, so you have more joints in them than what you
Okay.
would see nowadays with PVC.
So really old?
Yep, fairly old,
Okay.
but, overall, the pipe is in pretty good shape. You
Okay.
do have, the village is very fortunate, it has a real, granular sub-base area. So overall, it actually is in pretty good shape for, being 45 years old.
Okay.
The only thing that we noted was there was some roots in some of the joints. Nothing to a point where it was real heavy or anything. But, we would just recommend that you continue to monitor the roots in that area through future televising.
Okay.
10th Street, again, about 45 years old. The main's in pretty good shape. And there was one area where we did note that there was some heavy roots, where the camera was having some difficulties getting through. And that's between 615 and 626. In addition, we did notice that there was one crack pipe and a repair that had been done down on the south end of the project towards 500 or 516. Maybe some of this stuff has been already taken care of since it's 6 years old. If it hasn't, we would recommend that you actually have a company come in and actually treat the roots.
How do you do that?
It's a foam that they use.
Okay.
We're actually doing this on a project up in Milltown because we're looking at doing a slip
How do you
lining.
get the foam to it?
You have a company that would come in and they would inject it through the main, through both
Okay.
manholes or whatever.
And that'll clean out these roots, kill them, or what?
You have to let it sit for about 3 to 6 months
Okay.
prior to, before you would actually have them come in and cut them out. You want to kind of let them take the herbicide up and kill the roots
Okay.
before you actually cut them.
Hmm.
So it's about $1.60 a foot to have that done, and you have to have a minimum about 3,000 linear feet for them to come in and do the work. So
With with all these streets, are we gonna have that much?
there is another stretch along Monroe Street that has some heavy roots in there too. So
Okay.
you'd have to look at, what your overall footage would be. And again, maybe this is something that has been done already. Maybe, Mark had, since it's been 6 years old, maybe it has been corrected. But these are just, the things that when we looked at it, at the time that we noticed that there were some,
I don't believe anything was done with this televised report,
Okay.
so let's assume not.
Okay. All right, so Monroe Street, another area between 910 and 1018, pretty heavy ruts in that area, difficulties with the camera getting through. So again, we would look at, having a company come in and treat them and then cut them out afterwards.
Okay.
Then the alley east of Highway 35, kind of in the commercial district there, that's all PVC. It's 25 years old. Everything looks in really good shape there. There's no ruts, nothing to do with the pipe or anything. So there's no work that would be required up in that area.
Is that what you would expect, PVC versus the clay, just because of length of time or because of the material?
The material and, the joints, they have a gasket with
Okay.
the PVC. Where the clay tile, it was, just bell and spigot.
Okay.
Lemon Street, we noticed north of Michelson Street that quite a few of the pipes in that area are pitted, and some of them are starting to deteriorate. You think some of it has to do with, you have the Cedar lift station that sits to the east, and there's a force main that pumps over to that
Okay.
gravity sewer. It might have something to do with hydrogen sulfide gas, with the wastewater sitting in the wet well and the force main, that it could be working up into the pipe and starting to deteriorate that and pit it. Anything to the south, that area was in fairly good shape. We did notice some cracked pipes with maybe some offset joints on the far southern side. So that would be, something to consider. We do have that in our 5-year capital improvements plan.
Michelson?
Lemon Street,
Oh, Lemon, okay.
yep, that whole stretch
Okay.
through there. That was, not only with sewer, but, we were looking at potentially upsizing the water main. So we, from the water tower down to the shop yards, that would be all a 10-inch main, more of a direct route, better fire flows down in that area. So, that stretch is something that we're gonna definitely wanna consider just because it is starting to, deteriorate, especially north of Michelson Street.
Okay.
So, something to think about. And then Michelson Street, again, vitrified clay, about 60 years old. Overall, the pipe is in good shape. Did notice some ruts, and there was a crack pipe with the repair done that was done on the western side towards Highway 35, but nothing out of the, big ordinary. So we would recommend that you continue to monitor the growth and through future televising in that area. And then Highway 35, no surprise there. This is one of the oldest mains in town. It's prior to 1944. And again, this is something that we've talked about. It is on the 5-year capital improvement plan. And this would be tied in with,
The 2021 project?
yep, the Wisconsin DOT project. So
Okay.
we would definitely recommend that that be replaced along with the service laterals at that time.
Were we gonna do that anyway in that 2021 project? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, I guess I'm looking for you to come back with, I don't see one in here, but like a priority list for Patrick.
Sure.
And, you know, obviously all this is next year, but when we should do each of these, and then when you think we should do another televising, and do we need to televise any other areas?
Sure.
You know, I would like a plan.
Sure.
on when we fix these, when we foam them, now that we know that there's a square footage, you know, that we have to try and meet.
Yep.
I just want a plan. So can you work with Patrick and get a plan together?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep. Sure.
Any questions?
Work on that.
You're good? Patrick, any questions?
No.
Okay. All right, engineers report. Got anything else for us?
The only thing I wanted to bring up, you know, I know we've talked about this in the past, but the lights up in the ridges, the electrician was in towards the end of last month and has installed the wiring.
Okay,
So now we're just at a kind of a holding period until the lights actually show up from St. Croix Electric.
and that's actually the poles, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Which I've been told it's first part of December
Okay.
is when they're supposed to show up.
so would they still go up this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Patrick, on that one, Ted wanted to send out a notification, I think, and we had put that on Mark's plate, right? So,
To let the neighbors know.
so you want to be able to notify the neighbors when those lights are going up?
Okay.
The two
Alright.
new ones, obviously the one that's, did we fix the other one?
Yeah, the other one's been
The other one's
fixed.
fixed, but the other two, you want to send out some kind of a notification a couple weeks ahead of time for the neighbors right in and around that light, or those two lights that are going up, when you know it's going to happen.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Kevin, you done?
Yep, that's it.
And then, as probably you folks have noticed, Patrick is here with us today. He's our Public Works foreman. Mark Ekblad has retired as of the 7th of this month, last week. And we will be having some kind of a going-away party, and want to thank Mark for his 20 years of service here with us. But in the meantime, our Public Works foreman would be filling in, and we always have a spot here for a report from you if you have anything. A lot of times Mark does, and sometimes he doesn't. Anything additional that you want to add?
I guess it's more of an update, if anything, if you want to hear it or not. I guess it's up to you.
Go for it.
I guess I just kind of fill everybody in that I know catch basins and whatever, there's things in need of repair. I do have a couple of catch basins that residents have voiced concern to me. I will be, before it freezes up, I will be doing a temporary type of a fix on them, but they're at Summers and 10th, actually, or some two pretty good ones where the people's yards are falling in and whatever. So I've got a plan together. I had talked with a business owner and got a few ideas, and I think I can get them fixed so that we can get to next summer and then
To the project.
and then do our repairs or whatever.
When does
yeah.
that project kick off?
That could be next spring if,
What do we have to do? Did we set a date on that at all?
Well, we're talking about the,
The rubber.
yep,
yeah, the repairs. Yeah.
Well, see, I think these catch basins that I'm talking about are probably gonna be a little more extensive than,
Then the rubber can repair?
yeah.
Is that true?
I'd have to look at those, I guess.
Okay, we'll work with Kevin on that and see if they will fall into the overall
Okay.
rubber project. What is that stuff called again?
Flex seal.
Flex Seal.
Yep, that's what
Okay.
they call
So
it.
Flex Seal, see if you can keep them together till we do the Flex Seal. We obviously, between the two of you, need a date.
Okay,
when we can do that, and you're gonna have to work with Gloria about when the funds are available to do that Flex Seal project as well. So, you know, why don't we make that a future agenda item for next month? Come back with us and tell us about when you think that can start, which means you need to talk to the Flex Seal people.
Yeah, I can do
You
that.
guys will work that out?
Yep, I can
Okay.
talk to him. We
Yeah.
talk to him pretty often.
And then, I'm not sure if we have some funds left that if you really need to repair these ones right now, Patrick, I don't want them falling apart completely. I mean,
No,
right?
and-
We
and-
don't?
No, and I don't believe that they will.
Okay.
I think it's something that I can remedy.
Until next
Yeah.
year?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
What else you got?
I just wanted to let everybody know that I had been, I'm in the process of working with Hudson a little bit, getting some ideas on the, we had a few issues with the Riverside Lift Station and a couple of the other ones. They're in need of some repair. I am doing some checking with Kip Peters and then also Joe Beaudry on a plan of action for that to get repairs and get those stations up to snuff.
Okay,
They need that, so I just wanted to let everybody know that I am
working on.
trying to get something done there, trying to get you some solid numbers and what
Okay.
have you. And then I was also asked about salt. Do we have it? Did we order it? The salt has been ordered. We are covered. I talked to Hudson. They said, yeah, everything is a go, so we do have salt for this winter. And then I was told by Mike Coleman, our new employee, that the street sweeping was finished on Friday. I actually just got it back into town, so I haven't gotten the chance to drive around and see how good a job they did. And then, I guess on that note, next year, our contract will be up now, next year with McPhillips Street Sweeping. My thought is that I would put that out for bids again, as long as everybody agrees on that. I don't want to
Yep.
step on anybody, so, okay. And then, I guess that's probably about it. The hiring of the third person, the process is moving along.
Okay.
So that's about all I have to report, I guess.
Okay, so on the third person, with Mark's retirement, we're thinking that we would fill the third person with someone under Patrick. And we had somebody that we had interviewed in this last go-around before we brought Mike in. And that is still available. Would have to give a 2 weeks' notice, but the possibility is that we might be able to have him on by November 28th, hopefully before too much snow flies. And he had the experience and everything that we were looking for. Snow plowing, just future agenda item. I would like to get, I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to see a plan where you look at the streets and you know who's doing what when, and I would like to make sure that it's done in an orderly fashion. We know if we're using Gary for some of it, you know, make sure when, I don't think we should be crisscrossing each other.
No, me neither.
You know, so I would like you to get with Gary and make sure that you look at a street plan and know who's doing what street when. And, okay,
I'll get on that this
you
week.
guys concur?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't wanna see,
historically, they split it up, so,
right, but I've never seen a plan
yeah.
on how they split it up, so I'd like to see a plan. I would like your guys to know exactly where they're going to plow and where Gary's
Definitely.
going to plow. I think Gary's got equipment that we really like to use in like the cul-de-sacs and things, but these are things that Mark would have known and I don't, and I don't know that these guys do. So I'm hoping that you will
No.
get with Gary and make sure you have a clear plan on when we're doing plowing.
Yep,
Okay,
definitely.
so that's a future agenda item, Melissa. All right. I believe we've covered everything, and with that, we're adjourning at 6:02. Thank you.